Hey everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my fall series. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you click that button. My daughter gave me this wood round that she bought last year for fall. I think she just thought it was a little bit plain. She didn't know what to do with it other than use it as a riser, so I decided to dress it up for her a little bit. I found this free printable online. It will be down below in my description box. And I went ahead and printed him up on tissue paper. It's gift tissue paper, just like you use to put in a gift or gift bags. I taped it on some cardstock with masking tape and then ran it through my printer. And now I'm taking a glue stick from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to go ahead and stick this down on the wood. Now I had to use tons and tons of glue stick. When you're doing this kind of surface that's a little bit rough, be sure to be really generous with your glue stick. And I chose this image because honestly, when everything is said and done, it looks very much like you would have with like a wood burner where you burn an image into the wood, and that's what I was going for. I was going for a little bit more of a natural picture on top of the wood. And this guy, I mean, look at him. He's absolutely adorable. He's just a feel-good image. So this is what we went with, and it came up totally cute. I find it's really helpful when transferring the tissue paper to glue half of the image down and then the other half. So you saw me place it down and then hold one half down with my hand, glue it down, and then do the other side and work the wrinkles out. Now, because I was really generous with the glue stick, the image is actually kind of moist, which is what I wanted. So this one's wrinkling a little bit more than what's usual, and that's okay because I work it all out. All the wrinkles come out. You just have to take your time and do what I'm doing with my fingers. I'm just pressing, rubbing. Then I kind of tear it off because it's wet. But while it's wet, if you want to do Mod Podge, now's the time to do it. If you wait for this to dry completely and then go and try to seal it in with Mod Podge, you're going to risk having it crinkle up on you. And I've had that happen on furniture, and it was really upsetting because it took me hours to do. I did everything perfect. There wasn't one wrinkle at all anywhere, and it was literally almost ruined. And that's when I discovered the trick of spraying. I just thought of it like, oh, let's just spray some clear varnish on here so that we'll seal it in with a plastic before we apply a wet plastic, and it worked like a charm. So if you find you've accidentally let this dry, you probably should go ahead and seal it in with some kind of clear varnish or a clear polyacrylic, just something that doesn't yellow. Although on this craft, I don't think it would matter if it yellows because it kind of has golden warm undertones, and that way your image won't wrinkle. I did it while it was wet, as I said, and you'll see at the end here, he stays completely straight and wrinkle free. And I think this guy came up so cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is another Hobby Lobby discount clearance sign. I got it for $1.59. It's regularly $15.99, so it was a great deal. And I just go about removing the sticker with a blow dryer, then I tear off the cardboard, and then I use the Dollar Tree little cuticle clippers to remove these little tacks in the back because they weren't in that tough. If they're really strong, you actually might bend these cuticle clippers because they're $1.25. So I wouldn't risk them with the more expensive cuticle clippers either. You should probably use a screwdriver at that point or some needle nose pliers. And I'm removing any of the hardware on the back there to make it nice and clean and ready to paint. So I'm giving it one coat of my homemade white chalk paint. I always mention this because I get a lot of questions. The link to my video, I actually made two, but the first one I made, the ingredients kind of tough to find if you're in the USA. So I made another video with 3 other healthy choices, non-toxic, that work absolutely fantastic for homemade chalk paint, and they're cheaper actually than the first video now. Here's a free printable that I designed. I just thought coffee and autumn goes together perfectly, and I always do tea stuff, so I thought for you coffee drinkers this would be fun. I'm also a coffee drinker too. I love coffee. I love coffee and tea. But I went ahead and designed that on canva.com. If you'd like to make your own free printables, check out canva.com. It's canva.com. So I just went ahead and used my glue stick again. This was printed up on tissue paper, same method as the first one. This is my favorite way to transfer. For those of you that follow my channel, you're probably getting tired of hearing me say that, but for those of you that are new, it's a fantastic way to do it because tissue paper is super wafer thin, it's almost transparent, and it's the best way to get an image that's really detailed, almost like a print, onto whatever you're crafting. So vinyl, you're kind of limited. I mean, it's one color and it's very thick, and you can definitely see it in the light. You know, if it's hanging on the wall and the window shining on the side, you know, on the side of it where it comes in, you will definitely see the vinyl a lot more than you're going to see tissue paper. So I opt for the tissue paper, and I think it's probably cheaper. So again, here's a great find at Hobby Lobby, 39 cents. Please check out those clearance aisles when they're going. When they sell out of everything, the clearance gets kind of but when they're, especially right after holidays, please go and check out their clearance aisles because they're fantastic. And you pick up these little hardware pieces. I got a bunch of knobs and handles, super cheap. And as you can see, you just use a plier to screw in, I believe that was counterclockwise, and the other part comes out so that it makes it a nice flat surface for you to glue down. I'm just using some Gorilla super glue for this. It held beautifully, and I glued it down on the top for a little bit of extra decor. So now we have our silicone molds. I've talked about this before. They're in my description box, the ones that I bought from Amazon. I just squirt hot glue into them, and see how I'm pushing the nozzle down into those little tiny crevices. You need to do that to get the nice formation. You can also put them in the oven to make sure your hot glue melts as well. And there is a little bit of trimming excess stuff off. It's fine. You just do it with some scissors or cuticle clippers. I'm using the Folk Art metallic paint in copper to add these to the top, just so they kind of pull in that hardware. And then I distressed it with a little bit of my white chalk paint, and I think this came up so perfect for farmhouse kitchen decor on a cozy autumn day. Let me know what you think. This DIY is a request from my daughter. We all see those stereotypical little signs that you have on your entry table, and so I'm using a Dollar Tree sign, and to handle that glitter, I'm just going to give it 2 coats of spray paint. I did it on the deck, you guys, because I was afraid it was going to spray on my camera lens. Hairspray is unforgiving that way. But I went ahead and did that, and that way you don't have to worry about the glitter or covering the back. And then I gave it 1 coat of chalk paint, and I am now drawing some faux little shiplap lines. And we're just making that stereotypical happy sign that you see on Thanksgiving Day that says, you know, something about your family, something about gathering. She doesn't have one, and she said, "Mom, can you believe that? I don't have one, and I would love one just to put," she wants to put on her entry table with her little pumpkins and everything. You just got to have sometimes it feels good to just have that stereotypical stuff, and Dollar Tree always offers you a super inexpensive way to get it done. So I found the sign and both this decal right here at the Dollar Tree, and I saw it and thought this was perfect. This is a rectangle sign. This is the right wording for Thanksgiving Day. We're just going to dry brush a little bit of the nutmeg brown from Apple Barrel on there, slap this decal on there, and voila, we are almost done. So I decide that the top looks a little bit empty. I just figure, I'm looking at it right now thinking the sign just feels like it's missing something. So just to add a little something, just a little accent, I decided to take some of the Dollar Tree jute twine and wrap it around about 6 times on the top, and then I go ahead and float a little bit of flame over it to get rid of any of the stray hairs, because the only thing about the Dollar Tree jute twine that I don't like is it tends to be a lot more furrier than like the Walmart brand, and that kind of messes up your craft sometimes, but it's easy to fix. All you do is just burn it off. Somebody told me you could take a razor blade and shave it off. I tried that, it didn't work for me, but if you guys try it and it works, please let me know. And I just secured it in the back with a little bit of hot glue. There I go, getting the stray little hairs off of it. And I actually like the little charred look it leaves behind. I think it adds a more rustic feel, especially around Thanksgiving and autumn. And that's it. This is a super cute, again, stereotypical sign, and she didn't have to pay $15.99 from a craft store. She got it for $2.50. This was a fantastic find at Ross. It was $1.49, and it's a super cute basket. I just felt like it looked a little bit more like a Wizard of Oz basket for some reason. Maybe it's because it's the print of Dorothy's dress, but I wanted to see what I could do with this. And you can do this same principle, what I'm going to do today for this DIY, with Dollar Tree wire baskets. In fact, you can take 2 of the square ones, cut the bottom out of one with wire cutters, and attach it together on top to the other one with some wires, and then do this exact same principle and have a beautiful holiday, autumn, fall, or Thanksgiving basket. So after I remove everything, and it took me a long time, I start cutting out the extra large jumbo craft sticks from Walmart, and I measure them so that they're going to fit on the side. And we're going to try and create more of a farmhouse / apple basket, or something to put your pumpkins in, just something that looks a little bit more like autumn. I do recommend that you use a good quality hot glue for this craft so that it will stick to the wood and the metal. I'm using a glue from Surebonder here that claims it's extra strong, but I'm going to go ahead and do a couple other things to this basket that will ensure that these craft sticks stay in place. One, I'm going to go ahead and put nautical rope on the top and the bottom, and after I stain these, I'll go ahead and put some nautical rope in the middle as well. Here you see me adding a little bit of water that I put on my brush to some antiquing wax. I'm using the Folklore brand, but any antique wax will work. Now, you can apply it with a baby wipe, but it still doesn't glide quite as well as it does when you add water to it. I still find it functions more like a wood stain when you add water to it. It's still not enough water there because I end up taking a tissue to wipe it off. I mean, you can really water this down and it works beautifully as a stain. And if you want to use a baby wipe, you can. You're just not going to have quite the glide factor that you will if you add water. This is what it looks like when it's dry. Isn't that beautiful? So I did end up, as you saw, painting it on and then just wiping off the excess. That was working fine. So I thought, you know what, this is working. I'm going to go with it. You can do it however it works best for you. If you do use one of the Dollar Tree like gold baskets, you might want to spray paint it black first. But as you can see, once you're done putting the nautical rope on the top, bottom, and in the middle, there's no way that these are going to come off. The way I handled the bottom of this basket was to cut out some really thick quality cardboard. If you do the 2 Dollar Tree baskets on top of each other trick, you'll have a bottom on the bottom basket, so you won't have to worry about this so much, but you could still do this if you wanted to. And I just cut it so that it fits, and then I cut craft sticks. I didn't have to cover with craft sticks because there's going to be some Spanish moss in here or hay or something during the fall season, but I think it's more psychological. I just wanted it to be all wood since I went to all that work. And so I covered it with some craft sticks. And then I took the jute twine because I wanted it to be really thin and dainty looking, and covered the entire handle. And yes, it took me a long time, but I think it was beautiful and worth it because the results are very pretty. And I took my flame as usual, floated it over there just to get rid of the excess hair. I'm taking some of the Spanish moss, and now I'm going to take some of this Amazon raffia that I got that I absolutely love. I've talked about it in previous videos. It's super strong and thick and kind of functions more like a ribbon. It's just really beautiful, and it was very inexpensive. It's down below in my description box if you're interested. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie a big raffia bow on the side for a little bit of the season's, you know, garnish on there, and add some velvet pumpkins inside the middle. And that's it. We're all done, and I think this came up so cute. I am so excited to craft with you all for the fall season, and as always, until the next video, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.